I feel like I'm not represented at all.
Media is not really representing me as a woman accurately.
Nowadays, it's just more about body features, physical features, instead of an actual woman's personality and how she operates as a woman.
I think they're trying with some of the shows that are out now, but most of them are just reality TV that are making women look bad, arguing, catty.
For shows like Bad Girls Club and Love and Hip Hop and you know, things along the lines of that, but I feel like that shouldn't have to be our way into being represented in the media, and especially being represented accurately.
I definitely feel like there's a lot missing in the media, especially nowadays. There's really no lead roles for women of color. So if my daughter were to watch certain TV shows or movies, it's predominantly towards one race. So I would prefer there to be a black woman or maybe a black little girl in certain TV shows so she can relate to.
I would like to see more women in jobs that are mainly male dominated, such as film, not just in front of the camera but behind the camera. I would like to see more women on set, more women in newsrooms, more women as lawyers, and just different things that you're not used to seeing.
We're not really looking at the things we should look at, which I feel are personal stories. People in our neighborhood, people that are in the seats next to us when we go to school. I feel like those are the things that matter because, you know, they don't have a spotlight.
Well, it's nice to see women having their own TV shows, so I definitely love the shows such as Tyra Banks' show, even though that's over, and talk shows such as The Real, because you get to hear women's opinions and how they think about certain topics instead of just hearing a man's point of view, or, you know, something that's not their real point of view. It's actually how they feel.
Gina Rodriguez from Jane the Virgin inspires me so much because she is a woman of color. She's a Latina, and although she has been judged for not speaking Spanish fluently, she stands up to it and says, well, I'm a Latina as it is, and just because I don't speak the language fluently doesn't mean I'm less than. So I feel like that really represents me because I do speak Spanish, but I don't speak it fluently, and just because of that doesn't mean I'm less than of a Latina. I still feel Latina, and she says that and represents that in her show as well, in Jane the Virgin, and I really love that, and I wish there's more shows that would have Latina women as a main character.
Role models in the media are definitely women, black women actresses such as Taraji P. Henson, Sanaa Lathan, Nia Long. I really admire them because they've worked their way up in the media in a good way, and they've established a lot of lead roles, and I really admire their work ethic. So those are the type of women I definitely look up to.
Growing up, I did watch a lot of shows like The Cosby Show, A Different World, Living Single. My parents were born in the 50s, so they watched a lot of shows that were like that. So I kind of grew up watching things like that, and I feel like those shows are a big part of my life because they not only showed black women, but they showed them, you know, going to college, living through the struggles that, you know, an average black woman in her 20s or, you know, 30s you know, would go through. And it really influenced me as I am, because I feel like maybe if I hadn't watched those shows, I really wouldn't have much interest in college and what it could do for me, and you know, the opportunities it can bring me.
I feel that there should be way more empowerment for women, or the TV should display more women having, you know, lead business roles or anything of that sort, instead of women just being projected as being sexual beings.
Sometimes I do feel a certain way about how I look as far as like my weight, and I try to track it back to why I feel that way. And then I think it can be because of how I've seen women on TV, and most of the women that I used to see on TV growing up were very thin. So I guess that made me think it had to be that the reason that I now feel that I'm not confident in my body.
I would say for young women growing up and especially for young women who are really into social media, or women who have grown up into the social media era and really on Twitter, Instagram, and all these other social sites, I would say really stay true to yourself and don't let other people that you see on social media affect how you feel about yourself. Because a lot of women nowadays see these women on Instagram and all these Photoshop pictures, and they feel like they should have to adjust their bodies or put on makeup to look a certain way. And I feel like women should never have to, you know, want to look like the next because of what they see on social media. So I would say stay true to yourself, and everybody is beautiful in their own way.
Try to find yourself somewhere else that you don't think you would have found yourself, because if you search for yourself in social media, you're only going to find someone else and you're going to try to fit their shoes, and that's not who you are. You have to find yourself another way.
Don't let the media influence how you treat yourself.
Observe what's going on in the media, but not to the point where it's influencing what you do, unless it's to make a change.